As I normally say, Mondays are the most boring days starting the week. But, however, here in DWC, I intend to keep your Mondays fun and exciting. So, if you guys are big fans of the Japanese wrestling scene, you're in luck. This is what the episode is gonna be about. So, we got three reviews. The first one is from Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling from their live tour 2024 spring show that took place on the 18th of May. However, also on that very same day, Pro Wrestling NOAH also had something going on as well during their Sunday Voyage tour. But however, I decided, you know what? I did not expect I was going to see it, but I decided to save this one for last. For all of you, we're going to be reviewing the debut of MARIGOLD. That's right, the brand new promotion that Rossy Ogawa has launched. Now we're going to see exactly what these former members of Stardom and, of course, for At-Risk Girls are going to do in the ring. And we're going to be reviewing everything from top to bottom, from start to finish, everything. And I'll give you guys my thoughts, what I thought about the entire event. And then, of course, we cap it up with some news updates that give you guys updates, what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling. And also, as you all know, Nao Kakuta has announced recently, not too long ago, that she's going to be retiring, and that's going to happen by the end of July. However, amongst the road of her retirement, it was announced that she will be in fact doing a self-produced show, and she invited some old friends from her At-Risk Girls days to participate, and two of them are in fact from Stardom. And I guess some of you are probably want to be interested to know exactly what is going on. So, let's get started with another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions from various parts of the world, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do real-timing news updates to give you guys updates on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also do the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, I think it's time to stop with the introductions and get this show on the road. I think many of you are excited because you want to see the best for last. But right now, let's begin with Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling. Okay, Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling. This is from their live tour 2024 in spring. This took place recently this past weekend on the 18th of May. Of course, the ring announcer gave the info on the matches and all that, and then jump into the Up Girls. Now, as you all may have heard, if you guys remember, recently I did announce that Hikari Noah is no longer part of the promotion. She graduated, and of course, she's no longer part of the Up Up Girls. Now, I will be talking more about her at another time because there's a bit of a little thing that's been questioned about. So, you'll see what I mean. But anyway, let's move on with that. Our first match, we have Runa Okubo taking on Nao Kakuta. Now, I'm sure many of you were saying she could have had a much bigger match, but however, we're still on the road to that. But of course, Nao Kakuta, this is possibly one of her last matches we're ever going to see. I mean, Runa Okubo, of course, she is still kind of brand new, but she is still learning as we go. But however, she did not pick up the win. It was Nao Kakuta with the backpack stunner, and just like that, she picked up the win. Next match, we have a 6-woman tag team match. Team number 1, we have Uda Takami and Moka Miyamoto and Raku taking on Chika Nanaze, Kaya Toribami, and Arisu Endo. Now, of course, some of you would say, I thought Arisu Endo will be teaming up with her tag partner, Suzumi. I mean, yes, they will team up, but once in a while they'll separate them, put them in different tag team matches if it's possible. But also, if you notice in team number 1, Uda and Raku are in fact Up girls, so it's kind of interesting to see that. But however, it was of course Raku who picked up the win. It was like a very interesting submission move I never seen before. I cannot recall when was the last time I ever saw her that way, but she did that on Chika Nanaze, and just like that, it was over. Next up, we have a 3-way match. We have Shino Suzuki versus Mahito Kiru versus Suzumi. So, you probably would say this is going to be interesting. Now, Shino Suzuki, much like she's been with the promotion for almost a year and a half or so. But however, either way, it could have gone either with Kiru or Suzumi. But however, Suzumi was the one who pulled off an impressive win when she applied Ring of Bells onto to Shino, and just like that, it was completely over. Next up, we have a tag team match. We have Pam Harajuku teaming up with Azuki, taking on Haru Kazushiro and Shoko Nakajima. Very, very interesting pairing with Pam and Mizuki. Normally, Pam would team up with Raku or with Yuki Aino. But, yeah, not this time. But it was kind of expected. Now, of course, this match was going to be a lot more interesting because nothing significant about it. But however, it was Mizuki with a crossface onto Kazushiro. Kazushiro even tried to get out of it, but it was up to no avail. So basically, just like any other submission, you have no other choice but to tap. Now, our next match, this is a championship match, not from the promotion. Yuki Kamifuku, if you guys know this or not, she's a double champion from 2 different promotions outside of Japan. She is the Queen of Asia champion from the promotion Singapore Pro Wrestling, and then there's of course the women's title from Vietnam Pro Wrestling. And of course, if you guys know this or not, I did mention she is the inaugural champion. Now, some of you may question why she had these belts outside of Japan. We know that they did allow many of their, of course, they did allow many. They do allow certain wrestlers to wrestle outside of Japan, mostly in Singapore and possibly Vietnam. But nonetheless, she puts the belt on the line against Alexis Lee. If you guys know this, Alexis Lee is originally from the Singapore promotion, Singapore Pro Wrestling. You would think that she would definitely would walk out as, of course, double champ, because I know she has been wrestling outside of Singapore and other locations. Like Vietnam, for example, she was involved in the inaugural championship match that took place. But however, you would think her being the aggressor type would have been significant. It did not do any well for her because it took Yuki Kamifuku at least 2 Famouser's to put her away, and just like that, she retained both belts and did not lose them. Just like that. Now our next match, this is our main event. We have Maki Ito. She teams up with Toga and Yuki Aino. They take on Iwamari, Miyu Watanabe, and Rika Tatsumi. Now, of course, the X factor here of this match, as you all know or remember, Miyu Watanabe is the current Princess of Princess champion. However, either Yuki Aino or Maki Ito would have had an opportunity to pin her. I mean, that would have been the much significant thing. But however, Toga was the one who ended up toe-to-toe with her when, of course, Miyu Watanabe applied the teardrop and allowing for herself and her team to pick up a good win. So yeah, so that's pretty much what happened for Tokyo Pro Wrestling. I believe it's time to move on with our next review, and that is Pro Wrestling Noah. Okay, Pro Wrestling Noah with Sunny Voyage. This took place also on the 18th of May, this past Saturday. Now, our opening match, we have Hiroki taking on GLG's Tadasuke. Now, these two guys are no strangers from each other. They used to be part of the same unit in Congo until, Tadasuke turned his back on them. And, well, they beat him up, and then GLG decided to side with Yohei and join Jake Lee for GLG. However, I think there are certain events that I might have missed out from Noah, because I did notice in the card, Hiroki normally would teams up with, of course, Atsushi Kotoge. Looks more like to me they may be challenging for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. And of course, Tadasuke and Yohei have been successful in defending them, but no one has been able to dethrone them. So we'll see where that leads us from there. Now, the match itself, you would think that the fan favorite would have been Tadasuke. It kind of did, because he put up a modified pile driver onto Hiroki, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have tag team action. We have Junta Miyawaki teaming up with Starboy Charlie. They take on Shuji Kondo and, of course, the newly signed Eita. Yes, folks, if you guys know this or not, when Eita first appeared in Noah, he wasn't really a member of the roster, because at the time he was still with Dragon Gate. And now that he is no longer with Dragon Gate, he's been appearing more on Noah. But now, officially, he is a member of the roster. It appears that many fans are supporting him. And even Shuji Kondo mentioned he would side with him. So that's kind of interesting to hear about him. But you would think this is going to be a real interesting match, and it did. Eita once again proven why he should be the face of the junior heavyweight division. He did that by giving a very powerful super kick onto Miyawaki, and just like that, he picked up the win. Now, our next match, we have trios action. Daiki Inaba, Masa Kitamiya, and Takeshi Sugiura. They take on the members of GLG, more specifically Anthony Green, Jake Lee, and Jack Morris. Now, of course, GLG has been one of the most strongest factions within Noah since they first formed, and I'm pretty sure they are the fan favorite in this entire show. And of course, once again, they've proven why they are the dominant, because it was Jack Morris with the Tiger Driver onto Inaba that allowed him and his team to win. Now, as I mentioned before, we did see Hiroki and Tadasuke face off. Now their tag partners will be facing off each other. Atsushi Kotoge, who represents Team Noah along with Hiroki, they take on GLG's Yohei. But however, these two guys are also no strangers from each other. They know each other for a long time as rivals, teammates, however you see it. The last time Atsushi Kotoge bumped into Yohei, he turned his back on him after Tadasuke was no longer part of Congo. and this led to him and Tadasuke. People thought a different narrative what was going to happen afterwards. It did not turn out. But however, of course, you probably would think Yohei would know exactly what Kotoge was thinking, or Kotoge knows exactly what Yohei was thinking. But man, it took every inch of strength and will by Kotoge to try to find a perfect um, opening for him to get the 3 count, and that's exactly what he did when he applied the Kuma roll. However, as soon as the match was over, of course, like the story goes, a loser cannot stand a winner, and that's exactly what happened. Both Yohei and Tadasuke attacked, of course, Kotoge, but Aoki tried to help. I'm pretty sure that right now they are threatened with the fact that their tag belts are at risk. But anything could happen as we speak. Now, our next match, we have Yu Owada and Oka Sasaki. They take on Alejandro and Keito Kiyomiya. As you know, these guys are part of a new faction called All Rebellion. It was a faction that was formed between Keito Kiyomiya and Keno, and then Alejandro and a mysterious masked wrestler named Cristobal showed up, and they wanted to join. And I think this is a good match where, of course, we're going to see how will All Rebellion will function, and that's exactly what Kiyomiya did. He was able to pick up the win by pinning Owada and giving a very powerful statement. Now, our main event, we have Rohei Oiwa taking on Go Shiozaki. Now, Rohei Oiwa, if you guys remember this or not, he was a young lion in New Japan who was currently on excursion domestically in Japan. Now, you probably say he could have gone anywhere, but he was invited by Keito Kiyomiya. But the match was so hard-hitting. You probably would have thought someone had to pick up a win, but unfortunately, it didn't go exactly that way. It ended with, of course, a 30-minute time limit draw, which is, of course, here in the States, we don't like. However, in Japan, it's more like, okay, you did not win, you didn't lose, you'll try again at some point. So, we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure we will be getting more NOAH events, but as of right now, this is what we have for it. Now it's time for the one I've been saving for last for all of you, and that is the debut of MARIGOLD. Okay, the wait is over. We've been waiting for a while since this was announced. MARIGOLD, their debut show, Fields Forever. This took place recently today on the 20th of May in Korakuen Hall. Now, let's give you guys a quick recap how we got here. Now, as you know, back in February, Rossi Ogawa was announced that he was fired from by Bushiroad from Stardom due to the alleged poaching. Now, the rumors and circulating that Rossi Ogawa was intending to start a new promotion, well, it looks like he did. He introduced the name of the promotion, Dreamstar Fighting MARIGOLD. They introduced former wrestlers from Stardom, such as Julia, Utami Ayashida, Mai Sakurai, Mirai, Yuzuki now goes by Victoria Yuzuki. They even introduced Nao Ishikawa, who decided that she wants to side with Rossi. And then, of course, 6 wrestlers were announced from at-risk girls that left the promotion. Now they side with Rossi and his new promotion. Then they brought in international wrestlers as well, which is something that was expecting. So we were expecting a whole lot. And this now is the time, of course, where we're going to see how things would do. Now, this is their first show. This was promoted. They made appearances in NOAH to promote their show and all this and that. Now, of course, they started out with the roll call. Each wrestler were coming out from the backside of the of the of the area of the you can't see it from in Korakuen Hall, but they've been showing up one by one. starting with Victoria Suzuki, and then some of the top wrestlers were showing up in the sides of the venue. And of course, let's all begin. And then, of course, Rossy Ogawa unveiled the two belts. Something I did not know. I asked myself this question for a long time. Why is it that there's two belts with his red and white? And I didn't know this. I don't know if you guys know this or not. This was something that's been done before, but with a different promotion. The All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling. I gotta do research on that. Maybe I should do a discussion video. It's like, why is the tradition of the red and belt it's been continue on in the Yoshi Pro Wrestling world. So we'll get to that at some point. Now, our first match, we have Victoria Suzuki. As you know, many of you were surprised to hear she was the one who made the decision to leave, even though she was Rookie of the Year of 2023, and she faces against Nanane Takahashi. Now, what was the significance of this match? Suzuki wants to be the ace of this promotion, and the only way she has to do that is by going through Passion herself, Nanane Takahashi. And of course, this was a strong match, but however, Nanane Takahashi wasn't going to lose to someone like Suzuki. It took only a refrigerator bomb to put her away once and for all. But I'm sure Suzuki will come back to this match. She will not rest until she beats her and proves her point why she should be the ace. Our next match, we have Nao Ishikawa versus Miku Inoue. Now, those who know this, Nao Ishikawa originally came from Ice Ribbon, and then of course they started putting her as a Tam Nakano impersonator, where she did not want to be part of that. She would rather be herself. Now, also, if you guys notice her wrestling gear, if you watched it or not, her wrestling gear is almost similar to Asai. If you guys remember, I mentioned Asai was a wrestler who also went to Ice Ribbon, who also left at the same time as Nao Ishikawa. She was wearing a similar outfit to pay homage to her, and of course, I'm pretty sure Nao Ishikawa was hurt by her passing. But, however, she faces against Miku Inoue, who, in fact, she has been one of the most popular girls in At-Risk Girls. And this is where we get to see what both ladies can do. But, of course, I like how both Stu Fulton and Sonny Gutierrez, the commentators in the English commentating team, were, in fact, putting out certain things. Now Ishikawa was feeling like, I was the one that belonged here before you guys did. So she felt threatened with Miku Inoue, who in fact is out here to take her spot, a spot that she felt she earned her spot, her way in. But however, Miku Inoue proven why she's the one who's more deserving than her. And of course, she applied the Styles Clash. That's right, the same move that AJ Styles applied. And I thought that pretty much ends it right there. Our next match, we have a very strong one. We have Shiaki, I think her name is, versus Mirai. Of course, the same atmosphere we see with Mirai all the time with Stardom now continues in MARIGOLD, and she has a brand new theme. Of course, I'm pretty sure that everybody who loves Stardom gets a new theme song or so. But yes, this match was very amazing. I think this is one of my favorite ones, because if you guys know the story about what happened with At-Risk Girls, certain girls were unhappy. Like, they want to be pro wrestlers, not wrestlers pretending to be wrestlers. That's the thing. And Shiaki actually really impressed me a whole lot. She put a lot of power. But when it comes to Mirai, who refuses to stay down, for a fact that was going to be a good match. And that's exactly what happened. And of course, it took a big lariat by Mirai to pick up the win. Next match, we have a tag team match. We have Nagisa Nozaki. She teams up with Myla Grace to take on Seda Steel and Mai Sakurai. Now, this match happened right after when the members of MARIGOLD, consisting of Mai Sakurai, Julia, Utami, and Mirai, defeated the wrestlers who normally are freelancers in NOAH. And of course, Shiozaki, who lost to Julia, wanted to have a crack at her. But Mai Sakurai tells her, it will take you at least 1,000 years, so you have to get through me first. So, of course, Nozaki has no other choice but to deal with it. However, of course, this match was so intensified because, of course, Nozaki wants Julia. She wants to get her hands on her. The only person that stands in her way is Sakurai. But unfortunately, this match did not go according to plan from both sides because this became the first draw of the first day of the show. It ended in a time limit draw after 15 minutes. And of course, Sakurai did a little promo and all this. So we'll see what happens from here on out. Now, our next match, we have tag team action. Now, these girls all came from At-Risk Girls. I was surprised they put them in the same ring, in the same match. We have Misa, Matsui, and Natsumi Shozaki versus Chika Goto and Koiki Amari. I'm like, wow. This is a very... I think this is one of my... I think this is my second... well, the Mirai and Chucky were, in fact, my number 3 favorite. Then this one is my second. This tag match I thought is fantastic. I have to say, I understand why these ladies made the decision to leave. And they're showing what they can do as pro wrestlers, not as actors playing wrestlers. That's the thing that I think I understand now what they were doing. And I was blown away by this match. And I love the teamwork from both sides. But, however, it was, of course, Kyoki with a twisty frog splash onto Matsui to pick up the win. And, of course, Kyoki gave her promo saying that this is her first official win in MARIGOLD, and the best is yet to come. Now, our main event, this is one I think many of you wanted to hear. Utami Ayashida teaming with Julia. They take on Sari and Bozilla. Now, I did not know this or not. Apparently, there was some factors I did not understand. It turns out, from what I'm hearing, that Sari and Julia, this is not their first rodeo they ever encounter. Now, if you guys have just barely been following Julia since her Stardom days, then there's something else you need to know. Sari and Julia have met before back in 2019 during a self-produced show by Minoru Tanaka, and those two were in a singles match. And of course, that match led to Sari to win. Now, if you know Julia all too well, you know perfectly well Julia never forgets a match she loses, and she never lets that go until she gets it back. But however, this is a match where things have to be different. And now, of course, many people probably would assume Julia would have been the one to pick up the win, but this match was so intensified. I have to say, Bozilla, wow, she is very impressive. I mean, coming all the way from Germany, I'm not going to lie. But I will talk something about Bozilla in the news updates, and I think many of you will will try to not criticize, but more question what the hell was Rossi thinking. But anyway, the match was great, but it took every inch of teamwork between both Sari and Bozilla to pick up the win. It was first Bozilla applied a moonsault on Julia, and then Sari applied a Uranagi, and boom, they picked up the win. I'm sure many of the fans did not expect it this way to happen, but however, it was later announced that, of course, Julia wants to have another shot at her. So that's going to be a fun thing to watch. So I'll talk more about that in our news updates. So let me give you guys my thoughts about this event. What did I thought? I thought it was fantastic. But I feel that the time limit draw was... I think they could have just given a win to somebody. I don't think it mattered or something. But I'm pretty sure thinking they probably want to continue the storyline between both Nozaki and Mai Sakurai. So I think that's something that could happen down the line, but I feel that was the most boring one for me because it did not have a win whatsoever. Um, of course, my favorite matches are, in fact, the third match, which is, well, in the order, it's going to be, of course, Chiaki and Mirai. Then, of course, the tag match between Misa Matsui Natsumi Shozaki versus Chikagoto and Kyoki Amari. That's my second favorite, and my top favorite, of course, is the main event. So I have to say, it was a fantastic show. I hope they can keep up the same kind of momentum that we definitely need to have, and I think this is really, really interesting. So, I think I'm well invested in this, you know. I like to see more of what they can do. So from here on out, I do recommend for all of you to watch this. Now, if you guys have Wrestle Universe, go subscribe now and check it out. And I think you might enjoy it. So I think this is pretty much it right here for all our reviews. And I hope you guys enjoyed the debut of MARIGOLD. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have for all of you. Let's begin with the promotion, starting with GCW. As you know, this coming Saturday in Chicago, we have the Take a Picture. It was announced that Nick Gage will be in action, teaming up with Zilla Fatu to take on the Rejects, consistent of the Duke of Hardcore, John Wayne Murdoch, and Bentley Reed. Then, of course, on the 2nd of June at the Atlantic Center for Cage of Survival 3. This one happened recently in the much recent GCW shows. I'm sorry I haven't reviewed any of the much recent ones, but I'm going to do the best I can that I can catch up to those. But I'm not going to catch up like the much past ones. I'm going to do the most recent ones as possible. But anyway, moving forward. Per general manager request, apparently Matt Cardona actually decided to give Joey Janela one last chance for the GCW World title against Blake Christian. Now, I haven't heard what Blake Christian had to say. I'm sure he's not happy with the fact that he has to challenge again, and he probably will burn bridges with Matt Cardona for calling him a total idiot or something. I don't know, but we'll see. Now, as for the upcoming, and then later on the 16th in Phoenix, Arizona, for the I Can't Feel Your Face, it was on the 16th of June. Billy Starks will be in action, taking on Brittany Brooks. We have seen her. I think she's from that very Pacific City. I think a few times they were there. But anyway, yeah. And then, of course, as you know, we will have Bloodsport come back again this time in Brooklyn, New York on the 27th of July at the Roulette Intermedium. So it hasn't been announced yet due to the fact that Bloodsport will take place in Japan very soon. Now, Pro Wrestling Noah has announced for this Wednesday we have in Korakuen Hall. As you know, the war between Jake Lee and Tetsuya Naito continues on. Jake Lee will team up with Tadasuke to take on Naito and his tag partner Shingo Takagi. All Japan Pro Wrestling has announced that there's going to be a title match, and this is for the AJPW 6-man tag team titles. Suwama, along with Ozaki-gun members Mayumi Ozaki and Mayu Yukihi, will defend their belts against Suwama's tag partner Hideki Suzuki and the Evil Girls, Chi-Chi and Zones. And this will take place in Korakuen Hall on the 29th of May. Now, it's been a while since we've seen this name popped up in Stardom. New Blood is back with number 13th, and it will take place on June 21st at the New Pier Hall in Tokyo. So now, we don't know who's going to be involved. I'm sure right now, because of what the situation that was going on within closed doors in Stardom, they were trying to deal with the situation with Rossi and all that. But right now, it seems like things are getting back on track from Stardom, but no word yet who's going to participate. I will love to see, of course, the much recent rookies team be in this, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Um, P.P.P. Tokyo has announced another show that will take place in July in Shinjuku Face. This one's called Vanquish Heaven Feast in the Sky. No announcement yet who will participate, but I'm looking forward to see who will. Now, as you probably know this or not, it was as soon as I finished watching Marigold, they just announced that Julia and Suri will face off again, but this will take within 2 months in July. And it's going to be on July 13th for their Summer Destiny show. No other information has been announced yet of the venue or what other matches are take place on that. So we will be getting closer and closer to that as we get. Now, that's it for our promotional updates. Let's talk about, of course, the developments. Now, as you know, Saya Kamitani and Rana Yagami are participating in Pro Wrestling Wave's Catch the Wave tournament. Of course, Kamitani and Yagami actually had their first matches and won. However, Kamitani had something to say about her first match, and this is what she said. It was my first time to step into the ring of another promotion, so everything was fresh and new to me. It was stimulating. My first match was against Nanami from Diana. The result was an overwhelming victory, but thanks to Diana's star of hope, I received a lot of energy. Please watch my second match. I'm going to make a big wave. So basically, she's enjoying it. I mean, yes, there are some wrestlers that haven't been able, that never actually, how do I say this, ever wrestled outside of Stardom, but it's a good, refreshing experience for them. Fightful Select reports by Trish Stratus. If you guys remember, many years ago when she was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, she announced that she was pregnant. However, it was later revealed by Trish that it was Stephanie McMahon who suggested it. It's kind of interesting, but it would make sense. I mean, yeah, but yeah. So anyway, Gambari Pro has announced that Shinichiro Tominaga will be out of action because this past Saturday he was injured. It's still no clear when it's going to happen, but he was left with an Achilles tendon. So basically, we don't know how far extent or the severity of his injury. Hopefully, we'll get more information about that. This was reported that Liv Morgan is now single. Yes, for all you guys who have a crush for Liv Morgan, I'm sure you want to get in line. But she said that she won't date anyone unless they can blow her away. I don't know what that means, but I think it's more like saying the sweeper off her feet. Yeah. Fightful Select reports that Mark Henry, his AEW contract will expire this month. So it's still unclear what's going to happen now, but we'll be sticking close to this as well. Oh yeah. Now, this was coming out of the Wrestling Observer. It was later fulfilled that the Von Erichs will be signing to a major promotion. This was something that was done on their podcast, so it's still unclear which one. But I know certain people who I've talked to, and they believe that maybe they think they would choose AEW because they've been appearing on that a few times and possibly Ring of Honor. Now, as you know, Bozilla made her pro wrestling debut in Japan. Rossi Ogawa had this to say about what he thought. As was expected, I thought she was might similar to Megan Bayne, but she's different. And he said that Bozilla was the MVP of the night. You know, I have to say, she was. But to me, hearing that he thought that she would be similar as Megan Bayne, I think that was wishful thinking out of him. I mean, look, there's only one Megan Bayne. There's only one Bozilla. They're both unique in their own way. But I don't see Bozilla and Megan Bayne are similar. I mean, I don't know what Rossi was thinking. I think it was selfish of him to think that way. Now, speaking of Suwama and Hideki Suzuki, as you guys may or may know, they just called themselves a brand new tag name. They call themselves Real Evolutions. The reason is this. Um, of course, Hideki Suzuki has a faction called Real, and of course, Suwama has Evolutions. But it's interesting to hear that they're combining the whole thing into one. Sad news for Eddie Kingston fan base. It was reported by PW Insider that he suffered a tears to ACL and meniscus, as well a bipolar fractive or some fracture or something like that. But he will be out of action in 9 months, so that's going to be a long time. He probably will be back in early 2025, from my understanding. It was New Japan has announced that SANADA will be making his return to New Japan after he was out due to poor health. Now he's getting better. Um, I saved this one for last. For those who know, you probably want to know what's the attendance for MARIGOLD. Well, it was announced the attendance of the fans that appeared at Korakuen Hall. It's 1,539. So this is the biggest one. I mean, they did try to compare this to the biggest one back in 2020, but the more their exposure, the more we're gonna see of them. Now, our final thing that we're gonna be doing on our news updates here. You may have heard recently, Nao Kakuta from Tokyo Pro Wrestling will be retiring soon by the end of July. However, it was later announced that she will be involved in a self-produced show that will happen in July 6th in Shinkiba. Now, this is what it was foretold. The main event is going to feature her teaming up with Tai Hamna. Now, if you guys ever seen her, Tai Hamna was also part of At-Risk Girls, much like Nao Kakuta. They were both they were trained by the same person, Yuna Mizumori. However, they will face against their former roster mates in their At-Risk Girls days, Sayori Inui and Natsupoi. So yes, so they will be in the main event facing off each other. But the added bonus to this, Himeka is coming back and she is the special guest referee. I did not expect that, but it's great. Yes, Himeka was also part of At-Risk Girls too, so there's that. Mr. Haku also revealed that there's going to be a battle royale that was announced, and there's going to feature Mizuki, Suzumi, Arisu Endo, Pama Juku, and Yuki Inoue. Now, some of you may question, why is Sayori Inoue and Natsupoi in fact be involved in this? Now, possibly we know that the show is financed by Tokyo Pro Wrestling. I mean, yes, I think I understand the thing, but President Taru Okada kind of gave his statement on why is this. This is what he said. When we were informed about the show, we wanted to help in any way we could. I was formally approached by the team, and the only thing that needed to be is coordinate was a schedule to make sure that there were no conflicts, which went smoothly. While it's sad to see someone retire, I hope that the event will be filled with joy and happiness for those taking part in it. So basically, Tokyo Pro Wrestling approached Stardom about saying, "Listen, we want to have two of your talents to participate in this event. Will that be okay?" And I think Total Okada feels like, why not? I feel that it's sad. I mean, he understands that this is that Nao Kakuta is retiring, but having her two friends from their At-Risk Girl days to be part of a match, I think he couldn't say no to that. I mean, you can say this is like a forbidden door opening because Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling and Stardom never mix. They never interacted because I do recall someone questioned this about a couple years ago to Shinjiro Tagaki saying, will there ever be a collaboration or a interaction between both Tokyo Pro Wrestling and Stardom? Well, Shinjiro Tagaki said that it will not happen, but he did because he wants to keep Tokyo Pro Wrestling separate from what the others were doing. So this could be the first step of that, but we'll see what happens down the line. So I think that's pretty much it what we have. So I believe it's time to call it a day. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably enjoyed me doing the review for MARIGOLD. So if you have any friends that want to hear this review, let them know about this channel. I'm sure they will love to hear my thoughts and inputs, what I thought about this event, and I can't wait to see more of them. Coming up for our next episode, we do have NXT, and of course we do have Bakugajin and Friends, and I believe more with New Japan Pro Wrestling's. We're in day 7th of the Best of the Super Juniors, and I think they're doing once again the one block event on this one, but we'll see. So as of right now, I'll do that as soon as possible. But as of right now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I'm gonna bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.